called Innovate Chatham. We've been putting on we call them tech talks for a while now, but we just formed this group like a month ago, and so this is our first event under that banner. So we do a few things. We organize events like this. We also are involved in teaching adults and children different things about technology. So, for example, we got a bunch of board members here. For example, Jesse is going to talk to you a little while. He teaches adult literacy classes. I'm teaching in the Alliance in Siler City, some kids on computer programming. We're setting up a little educational space there to help with that. Anyway, we've got a few little projects like that, mentoring and tutoring high school students. Anybody ever have a kid at the science fair? Any science fair judges in here? So sometimes I get a phone call. They go, "Hey, can you find us a science fair judge? We don't have enough." So our membership's got tech type backgrounds, and usually I can find a couple scientists or a physicist or somebody like that can jump in and do that. So that's what we're about. So I appreciate y'all braving the cold and the COVID to come here and listen to this. Generally, what I do is try to answer people's questions, but I thought I would probably start off today with just kind of asking you guys some questions. So that's my name, and I have a contact card out there if you're interested in contacting us again for any reason, like maybe you'd like to join or help us. So my question is, or our discussion will be about these main 4 points. Which hopefully these are the points that you would like to hear. Who needs broadband? We're going to talk a little bit about that. Who's going to pay for it? Who's going to sell it to you? And when can you get it? Anybody have other deeper questions than that? I think that ought to cover the ground. Okay, so some questions, because I wanted to try to get an answer to the scale of this problem. So I thought I'd just ask first, is broadband a nice to have or a necessity? I think that's why you're here, because you feel it's a necessity. The very first thing that I did when we bought our house in 2008, right? We were looking at the house. We're like, it's a nice house. My wife says, it's got to have enough bathrooms. That's the number one thing. And then she said, and then I said, well, of course, we have to check the water pressure. We go upstairs and ran the water, make sure it was nice and good flow stream or whatever. And the third thing I did is went next door and asked, do you have decent internet? So in 2008, decent internet was a couple or 3 megabytes, and they did. And I was like, thank you very much. We bought the house, right? So there's a need for some people that it's not just a nice to have. It's a necessity. And then, but if you think about it, and I did, when we organized this event, it would have taken a year to organize this event without internet, right? And you probably wouldn't have found out about it, right? How many people found out on the internet about this? Wow, okay. And just out of curiosity, how many people found out about it because they read it in the newspaper, in the Chatham News and Record? Okay, so there you go. We have 1 to 50 or something like that ratio, right? So that seems pretty necessary. So access information, entertainment. Entertainment might seem like a nice to have, but that could be a necessity too, depending on how you want to look at it. That's right. What else are you going to do? Banking? How do you bank anymore? Like our branch moved. We don't even have a branch, so but we still kept the account because we have online telehealth. Anybody use telehealth yet? Oh, okay, quite a few. Yeah, that's like a lifesaver. Education, of course, the kids at school, learning new things, of course. Work. Anybody work from home on the internet? Yeah, my son works from home. I work from home on the internet when I work. You have retail. How many people can only do business with the government on the frickin' internet? Right? What difference? How much sense does that make compared to the first question that we had a minute ago about well, the government says you can't have internet. We're not provided to you, but you got to have it in order to access it. So anyway, there's lots of things like that. So just out of curiosity, I know this is kind of a weird mix of audience, but how do you say now that what they have right now is good internet? Okay, a few. All right. Well, if I decide to leave that up to you. If you think it's good and good enough, then that's why you raised your hand, I hope. All right. So here's a question for you. If you have good internet, for the people who say they have good internet, would you choose to buy your next home if it had no or slow internet? Would you pay 10%? Would you say, I'd like to save 10% on my next house if I could buy one and look for one then that had good or slow internet? So you got two. In Chatham County, the average price of a house is $265,000. So you could save this house, save $26,000, $20,000 or $30,000 on it, and get slow internet or no internet. Or you can pay full price for this one. How many people would take the slow one? That's what I thought. I think nobody would want to save that level of money. And then if you flip it around, how many people of you have no or slow internet? Okay? So if you were going to choose, would you pay 10% more on your next house like that if you could afford it to have decent internet? How many people would do that? Okay, so 10% more, that puts it in like the 20, 30,000 plus range. That's what you'd invest in order to have decent internet. And I believe that this is what we're going to find out. So there's the will on the one side and the financial willpower. I think you have to put a number to it or it doesn't count. There's the financial willpower on one side, and on the other side is what it costs and how to get it.